Hello and welcome to iExamB. Embrace the iExamB learning experience to prepare 50% faster. So let us start with the day 2 of the IBPS SO IT revision series. Today we are going to solve some important MCQs based on stacks. Here is the first question. A valid postfix expression contains n operands and only binary operators. You are asked what is the total number of push and pop operations required during its evaluation. So the answer to this question is C, 4n minus 3. A valid postfix expression with n operands contains n minus 1 binary operators. So if we talk about the push operations, then every operand needs to be pushed onto the stack. When an operator is encountered, the top two elements would be popped out and the answer of the expression would be pushed into the stack again. So the total number of push operations would be n plus n minus 1, which is 2n minus 1. For the pop operations, every operator will pop out two operands from the stack. So the total pop operations would be twice of n minus 1, which is 2n minus 2. Hence the total would be 2n minus 1 plus 2n minus 2, which is 4n minus 3. The next question is, what is the postfix form of the following infix expression? So you are given an infix expression and you are supposed to calculate its postfix form. So applying the stack algorithm, you can calculate the postfix form of this infix expression. So the answer here is B. Remember that the brackets would have the highest priority, and within the brackets exponent has the highest priority, followed by multiplication, and here it would then be followed by plus and minus operators. So if you calculate the postfix form, you will get the answer as B. In the next question, you have to evaluate the following postfix expression. So given this postfix expression, you have to find the value. So if you look at this postfix expression, the first thing to be evaluated is 2 cross 5. So 10 would be the first evaluation. After that, we will be applying the plus operator. So 8 plus 10 will give us 18. Then moving on, we will be applying the cross operator with 3 cross 2, which yields 6. Then we will be applying the plus operator. So 1 plus 6 becomes 7. And then we will be applying the minus operator. So 7 minus 4 will give us 3. The only operator left now is divide. So you will be dividing 18 by 3 and hence the answer would be C, that is 6. Similarly, here you have to evaluate the prefix expression. So here first 0 and 2 will be pushed onto the stack. When plus is encountered, these two values are going to be popped out of the stack and evaluated as 2 and then pushed into the stack. Then 5 and 4 come onto the stack. When you encounter the asterisk, 4 and 5 will be popped out of the stack and multiplication operator will be applied on it. So 20 is going to be pushed onto the stack. Then 7 gets pushed onto the stack and with plus operator 7 and 20 gets added up to yield 27 that gets pushed onto the stack. And finally the minus operator will yield 27 minus 2, which is equal to 25. Hence the answer here is 25. So in this question, two stacks are implemented in a single array. Stack 1 grows from left to right, while stack 2 grows from right to left. You have to tell the condition when the overflow occurs. The answer to this question is B, where top 1 plus 1 will be equal to top 2. So this is the condition when there will be no more space available in the array for elements to be inserted. Now in this question, consider the following operations on an initially empty stack. First you're pushing 2, then you're pushing 3, then you're pushing the value which is pop plus peak. And finally, you're pushing the value pop multiplied by pop. So what is the top element after all these operations? So here, first 2 will be pushed into the stack followed by 3. Then you are doing push pop plus peak. So when you do the pop operation, 3 is popped out and the peak value is 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5, which gets pushed onto the stack. So now in the stack, there are 2 elements. At the bottom, you have 2 and then you have 5. In the next operation, you have to push the value pop cross pop. So once while you pop, you will get 5 value and the other pop will give you 2 value. So 5 cross 2, which is 10, gets pushed onto the stack. So the top element after all these operations would be 10. So the answer here is D, 10. Now, which of the following output sequences is a valid stack permutation of the input sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And you're given multiple options. You have to select the option which is the valid stack permutation. So here the answer is C, which is 2, 1, 4, 5, 3. What you can do is first you can push 1, then 2. After this, you will be popping out both the values. So 2 and 1 would be the output. Then you are pushing in value 3 followed by value 4. Then you can pop out the value 4. After which you can push in value 5. And then you can pop out both the values. So 5 and 3 will be popped out. So 2, 1, 4, 5, 3 would be the valid stack permutation of the input sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can check that the other combinations are not possible with the stack. Now in this question, it is asking what is the maximum number of elements simultaneously present in the stack while evaluating the following postfix expression. So as you know, all the operands go onto the stack. So here we see A, B, C, D are all operands and they go onto the stack. This is the maximum number of elements simultaneously present in the stack. Hence the answer here is D, 4. In this next question, it is asking what is the maximum stack depth required while checking the following bracket sequence. If you examine the bracket sequence, you will understand that the maximum stack depth required while checking this sequence would be 3. Hence the answer here is B, 3. And in this question, it is asking which of the following problems is most appropriately solved using a monotonic stack. So the answer here is C, finding the next greater element for every array element. And with that, we come to the end of this video. I hope you understood the various concepts that were checked with the help of these MCQs. Have a wonderful learning experience with iExamB and thank you for watching.